So, mothers and others, we're down to our next candidate this evening, and I'm so excited to introduce him to you. So, Peter Filler is a candidate for Texas 2nd Congressional District, running against Republican incumbent Dan Crenshaw. And oh my gosh, welcome, Peter. Tell us a little bit about who you are and how you got started and why you're running against Dan Crenshaw.
Well, thank you very much, Nancy, and Mothers Against Greg Abbott. So I love the theme here. Of course, we're all against Greg Abbott, of course, living in Texas. So a little bit about me. Well, I'm Peter Filler. I'm a Democratic candidate. I'm running against Dan Crenshaw. So here in Texas is District 2, which is Spring area, North Houston, and it goes up to Woodland. So um, I'm a public school teacher, and so I've been doing that for the past about 10 years. And before doing that, I was working in urban forestry. So my background is resource management, forestry. Decided to become a certified teacher with my bachelor's degree, and so right now I'm teaching middle school language arts. So that's my background, and so I'm running because Washington D.C. needs me. That's my pitch, or that I just feel it's a calling for me. Like I was just watching the news, and after the riot at the Capitol in D.C. and the overturning of Roe versus Wade, as a teacher, I study a lot. So I was studying the trends, and what I noticed was a lot of those Republican strongholds, flipping to Democratic control. Like so that's was my inspiration, my motivation, as we just saw from Aaron. So a lot of just case studies just like that, where it's just I felt like I had an opening, and I'm a rookie at this. I've never decided to take up public office. I've just been a bystander, Nancy, and everybody else on the panel here. So but I just felt like there was a calling. I felt like I needed to do this. So for a few reasons that I just believe Dan Crenshaw was vulnerable. Like if you flip on any media, it's not positive too much about him. And then just talking to people in our district, like Todd or anyone else in our district, it's just not a popular guy. So just I know he's got plenty of dough to spread around, but just like our previous speaker was saying, that's doesn't necessarily, money is necessarily, her quote was money doesn't vote, people vote. So that's what I'm counting on. And so just long story short, so his lack of empathy and compassion, Dan Crenshaw. So I was just studying him. So everything else aside, so I just started focusing on Dan Crenshaw, what he was up to. So he didn't vote to impeach Donald Trump. That was like a sin to me. He had a chance to make it wrong or right. So he was actually probably there in the Capitol with the whole everything happening, but to him that was no, it's okay. So that was a sin. Like I had like that's something that's like a calling for me. I had to call it out, and so just run against that. And then also just looking at his appropriations. There's many other things, but looking at his appropriations here in our district. So of course, federal dollars like 48 million, Nancy, but not even a penny for anyone like in our, someone who has autism or Tourette syndrome or anyone with the issue. So anything like a social issue, it's not an issue. Actually, they go against anything, as we know, the Republicans do. So that's why I'm here tonight, Nancy, and
Well,
everybody else.
yeah, well, welcome. So
Thank you.
you're kind of like our own little, Mr. Smith goes to Washington right now. So I think that's fabulous. I love that.
Thank you.
So welcome. So can you tell us what are the top three issues that are the most important for your district right now?
So just getting out and talking to the folks here, Mothers Against Greg Abbott. So it's just that like the whole Republican MAGA agenda where it's where everything there should be, right is wrong to them, like any kind of social issue. So it's many things. So it's just a denial of, say, LGBT. Like it's personal to me because my mom, she came out after years. So, but she's sort of in the same camp where she's in denial of the whole thing. But so those people should be respected and offered freedoms and different things. And kids, they're so impressionable. We should be building them up, not tearing them down. Like I noticed what Dan Crenshaw and the Republicans, they want to do stuff like that. So I would say just people like civil rights, like being humanitarian to the people in our own community and treating them with respect and dignity, and offering them some solutions. Like let's 3 million here, 3 million there of that 48 million. So an issue to me, what I believe is important is little social programs that we can do. Like little research and development, like how much that would have helped a child. I went just knocking doors, and and hearing about, a child with Tourette syndrome, and they were, all they were asking for was just a little donation, like a little that appropriations to something like that, just so they can research, develop it. And it was crickets, it was, he basically said no. And, citing the $38 trillion deficit. So just like not a people person. I want to bring like the humanity and the compassion back to our district, like a representative that's truly representative, represents the people and their concerns, because so their concerns are my concerns. So I know that's not three, but I think that's the main thing, is just treating people with dignity and respect. And of course, I could talk about the immigration and some of my vision that I'd love to work on, those committees, and talk more about like diverting people, and of course, marijuana. That's like a no-brainer that we need to like bring light to that issue. Or I know in Harris County they do decriminalize it, some of the other counties, but it just needs to be rescheduled. I'd like to work on like the Homeland Security. Sorry, my video went out. I love to work on a lot of these committees, and I feel I'm a go-getter. I didn't mention I'm also a realtor, so pretty much anything I ever set my mind to, Nancy and panel, I've always been able to achieve it. Like certified teacher, of course, my bachelor's degree. Happily married. I'm fathered. My son's 27. So just little things like that. I know I could do it. So I'm counting on the people to support me and get out to vote, and then of course make it happen.
Yep, that sounds great. So tell us, Peter, where can we find you, and how best can we support you right now while you're running for office?
The moral support is that's outstanding. Just hearing the voices, and getting out and meeting folks like Todd in the different clubs. I'm just saying Todd because I met him a couple of times, Mr. Litton. So we got your back. And so I'm literally a rookie. I'm having my campaign kickoff in 2 weeks. So I have my website is peterfiller.com. Just kept it simple, just my name, Peter Filler. And of course, on any of the, just type me into like X, formerly known as Twitter. You'll find my pages, and I've been having great success there with a lot of these booster lists. So getting my recognition out to just folks across the country about my campaign. So of course, if you're in the Meyer Park area, which is Cypresswood, like around, we're at Congressional District 2, of course, please come out. Love to have you there. It's a campaign kickoff. So anybody who I've been out talking to the past like 8 months or so, I've got their numbers and contacting them. So I'll be with my signs, just more. I'm uncontested, actually, lucky for me in my primary. So it's more just I want to have an outstanding showing, and then love to have a pack, like get the Texas Democrats and some national Democrats on my side, and actually get the word out more, like to highlight really Dan Crenshaw's, like what he hasn't been doing. I could go on and on. I know I'm preaching to the choir at this point, but so yeah, so it's my name, Peter Filler. I'll be at Meyer Park on my campaign kickoff. So Saturday, it's February 17th from noon to 3. Please join me and just look for me. Wish me luck. And I know it's just the beginning for me. I'm blessed. I'll have this golden opportunity to pretty much just have it handed to me, this, to be the nominee. And then of course, my real work, I know it really starts. So just keep it like the enthusiasm, and just like the the moral support. So thank you so much, Nancy, and Mothers Against Greg Abbott, and everyone else on the panel, Todd, Cody, Tony, and everybody else if you're listening out there. Thank you so much.